Okay, right. So as I mentioned,
Three,
the AUSA had
two,
met with
one.
the
Let's go.
warrant officer who had arrived the night before. Now, I didn't get to talk to the U.S. attorney about this. So, we had just learned this. I mean, literally the day before the trial was about to end. So the next day when we went to court, I didn't have a chance to talk to the United States attorney, and he just said to me, "What do you see? What happens?" And I'm going like, "Whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do I see?" You know, he said, he just sort of winked at me and says, "Wait do you see?" So he sits down, and the U.S. attorney says, "Your Honor, I'd like to call a witness." Now, at this late stage of a trial, Rad, you're really not permitted to put a witness on without telling the defense what it's about. And the only reason you can do something like that is when you're rebutting something. And so when the defense objected, they objected to this witness, whoever he was. And the judge asked, "Well, who is this?" Right. You can't, we don't know who this
Right
is.
away.
You know, you didn't
right
tell
away,
us.
huh? They're like, object. We object.
He tells
They're
the
like,
judge,
no.
the U.S. attorney says, "Your Honor, this is a rebuttal witness to Sergeant Lindsey's military records." So the judge says, "I'll allow it, overruled." So he says, "But let's get to it." So he calls up the warrant officer, the chief warrant officer, and he walks up, and he's in full uniform. And he sits down, the U.S. attorney asks him, "Okay, can you tell us who you are?" and things like that. So on this final morning, McCann is going to put this rebuttal guy on, and to counter Lindsey's PTSD sort of claims. The defense, objected, like I said, and he says, "Well, introduce yourself and tell us who you are." So he says, "My name is Thomas Piatti. I'm the chief warrant officer in the U.S. Army, and I'm the chief of the authorization section for the Department of the Army Awards Branch in Washington, D.C. He says, "My job is to adjudicate claims for awards dating back to the Civil War." And he says, "I prepare and distribute next of kin posthumous awards and people killed in action. And I also review cases of fraud." So Rad, then in like a swift, just a stunning series of answers, Piatti proves one by one Lindsey's medals are fraudulent. And he explains with, the detail of how he had searched the National Archives. Yeah. It's just unbelievable as he starts to tell.
Wow.
And I'll tell you.
Wow. Wow. So please continue. This whole story is amazing. It's amazing that this has gotten so, I mean, just the way that this is crazy, because you're sitting here putting Rambo on the stand, right? And you're having self-doubts and you're sitting here thinking, who am I? The judge is accosting you. The judge is in the chambers like, dude, I'm a Marine. Do you see this behind me? And you're just it
felt that way.
My career. I'm just saying, dude.
Yes.
So the warrant officer's he's disputing each of these things. Yeah. Oh, I bet the world felt against you because and here comes the warrant officer. Yes. Full regalia, full uniform. So he says, and he's like, "I got something to tell you on the stand." He starts going through each one. So first he started with the POW. He says, Piatti searched. He says, "I searched the records, both classified, unclassified, war records for the name of David James Lindsey." He said, "I found no record of Lindsey ever being a POW. He said his claims of being a POW is fraudulent. Number one, that's one. Number two, he says that Piatti says so his POW thing is just gone. Right there. What a claim.
Piatti says he searched Lindsey's claim of a
Jeez.
It's headed that way, man. So
Yeah,
but
gone.
it's when
So
these
his
other
credibility's
things
got to be
are,
out the window
all of
right there.
these are culminating in this whole series of them. So he says, I searched
It sounds
for
like it.
a Bronze Star with a V device claimed by Lindsey on General Order 1095 on 4 February 1970. He said he found Patty Piatti said he found the General Order 1095 with 14 Bronze Stars names, but none of the names was David Lindsey. He said this claim for a Bronze Star with a V device is fraudulent. He says, then he goes to the next one. Piatti says, I searched General Order number 5642 for Lindsey claim for an Army Commendation Medal with a V device on 26 February 1970. Says, I found the General Order 5642, which was awarded on Army Commendation Medal to two other individuals, not David Lindsey. This medal is fraudulent. So he just continues to go down the list. He finally got to the Navy. He goes back to the Navy.
Wow.
Says the specific medals that were claimed on his Navy records were the Navy Cross claimed by Lindsey on 23-24 December 1965. Silver Star claimed by Lindsey on 16 October 1965. He says the Bronze Star for Valor claimed by Lindsey on 11 November 1965. The Navy Marine Corps Medal claimed on 27 July 1958. And 3 Purple Hearts claimed by Lindsey while he was in the Marine Corps. He said Piatti searched all the records, and he says none of them were issued to Sergeant Lindsey, and all of these medals were fraudulent. So he says, so he went through this whole list, and he's destroying every medal that this guy had on his DD-214. And Rad, I'm telling you, man, this was the moment that I told you about when I felt that after Dr. Cobb testified, I said, this is it. This guy's going to get away with this. I had the same feeling right now of what was happening.
Right.
And you could have heard a pin drop in this courtroom. And Piatti was the only person talking, and Lindsey was sitting at the defense table with his head down, and like he just knew it, that busted. The judge was
busted. The judge.
The jury. I'm telling you,
the judge is probably just sitting.
Their jaws were on the floor, just from hearing all this testimony of the fraudulent nature of every of these medals, all these medals that were just him creating them. And then Piatti says that that Lindsey was an administrative sergeant and took care of the military records in these units that he was assigned to. And it was, and then he kept on. He kept going. He also said, and I just want to, read it to you. He says that Lindsey did not receive training to be a Green Beret. He never received training to be a Ranger, airborne. It didn't receive any training for any of those things. Rad, another thing, this guy got the Soldier of the Year award in the 5th Army in 1972. And the guy who was second was a really qualified guy. And even in the newspaper, when they're talking about it, they said Lindsey handily, beat this guy out for this award as Soldier of the Year. because of his combat experience and medals. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy, the guy who lost out, the guy who lost out, should have been Soldier of the Year.
But it's all
and anyway, so
it's second place. Yeah. Yep. 100%. His career was halted by this guy, just like the whole town was halted by him coming in with his cocaine habit, getting those 16-year-olds that you were talking about and 17-year-olds all hooked on the white lines that, just ruin your life. Okay. And then all of a sudden he's ruining everyone's lives, and he's just about ruined your life because the judge is coming at you and all of your FBI comrades are like, this dude's got a DD-214 like a Bible, bro. And you're like, oh, I don't even know. And so the jury is looking at crushing you like the day before. They're like, oh, the doctor spoke. And you're like, the doctor spoke. Shit. I'm sorry to say it like that, but here comes the warrant officer. And he's like, I've got this whole thing. Man, and the thing is this guy probably got away. Did he?
Yeah, he died.
Buried?
Died in jail.
Did he die? Is this dude dead? Is David?
No,
James,
I don't believe so.
He was dead. Is DJ Barr dead? Is he? So did he get buried with the American flag?
No honors. He's buried up in Whitehall. He's in.
Was he? Do they? No honors.
So I got a picture of his gravesite. Yeah.
Oh. He's just a farce. And so
well,
just a Remington Raider, a Marine with a typewriter in
stole,
Vietnam, just taking all the people's
stories
and putting them into his own file.
And I'm not sure if I mentioned to you the Navy Cross one was a very famous. It's actually a famous story. It was Hill 488, and the sergeant who won that got a Congressional Medal of Honor. He got a CMH. In that same battle, they gave 2 Navy Crosses and 14 Silver Stars. So Lindsey took that story, changed it to Hill 474, and put his own name in there. Unbelievable. He's shocked, right?
The balls on this guy, dude. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I'm seriously shocked because, like, I mean, I'm taking my glasses off. I'm so shocked right now, Charles, because like he's playing. He went in hard, dude. Like, there's a difference, okay? And I think I mentioned it earlier between going to the thrift store and putting on, an old military jacket and staying warm and walking around, maybe asking for some food.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy that's wearing full battle rattle, using stolen valor to get on base. Okay, that guy is the David Lindsey James. This DJ
that's exactly
guy
right, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to tell the story to your group and your listeners. This is more than a stolen valor story, Rad, because of what he did to this town and these young people. He ruined a lot of people for the rest of their life. A lot of those people went to jail for not long periods, but they all went to jail. And that was the other thing. We offered this guy 15 years, and he was facing a lot more than that. He thought because he had already bullshitted everybody else, Rad, that he could do one more thing. He could do it one more time. You know what I mean? And when that jury heard from Thomas Piatti, and they came back and found him guilty of all charges, 21 counts. They found him guilty, and the judge sentenced him to 60 years in jail. And he deserved that. But
wow. So it went from him. It went from him trying to say that he was all these things.
Yes.
trying to own it,
the doctor,
post-traumatic stress. And then the jury's like falling for that because we all are. Because why would you not? It's so legit. It took that one guy over the Navy's. Yes.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The judge.
I am telling you, man. And that's one of the things I want.
I'm just.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yep.
Right. And then even me today. I was like, even me today in 2022. That's a huge story of just lying. That's worse than the emperor has no clothes on almost. They're just telling him he was wearing his clothes. This guy's just, I'm so upset about it because, my father was a Green Beret. And, I know how hard it is to even get in the military, let alone get to that level of the military. Yeah. And this dude's just like a Navy Cross, 475 Hill, stealing their thunder, stealing these people's opportunity. I mean,
and that's what
I'm glad that you went. I'm glad you were the guy that got him, and I get to talk to you about it because this is crazy.
Yeah, he died
so
about 10
else?
years after that. I think he died around 2001. He had a perforated colon, and I'm not sure if that is a perforated colon from cancer or if it's a perforated colon from somebody stabbing him or something. So I don't know. But Rad, one of the things I wanted to like was the fact that while this guy was a stolen valor guy, I also want to raise up and shine on those soldiers who did what your dad did, who went through this training, who were Green Berets, who were Rangers, who were these heroes and these proud people who, we just had July 4th, and these people should be so proud of what they did. I don't want to highlight and publicize this guy's name kind of thing, but that the fact that this happened and that this guy had convinced people and in a way that was sort of hard to prove. You had to be on the inside to find this out and not just walk up to him and say, hey, you didn't, where'd you earn that at, and where'd you get that badge from, or where'd you get that Bronze Star from? He could tell you where he got it. Oh, I was on Hill 474 or whatever it was. And, and that's all I want to show too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Check my packet. Check my DD-214.
That's right.
That's
and
all
he got
would say.
all the way to the end of this trial.
He'd just be like, "Oh, I don't have to answer your questions. My military record speaks for itself." Yeah. Then he doesn't have to get caught.
And he got to the last day of the trial for his freedom.
Yeah.
And
check my record.
He had it. He almost had it. And anyway, it was really a dramatic story for me, and I felt like I was 10 feet tall when I left that courtroom. The same with the assistant U.S. attorney a hit was put out on him. I mean, are you kidding me, man? This guy is, he was a liar, a fraud, and a manipulator. That's what this guy was. And thanks for letting me tell that story with you on your show, man. You're so cool, Rad. You're so laid back, man. And I enjoy your talks with everybody who comes on here.
Oh, that's really humbling from you. I appreciate that, my government agent friend, Charles. And I just want to say that, you going through the FBI and you running through their basic trainings and you earning those certificates that you earned, I'm sure that this case
Yeah,
helped you
I
maybe
did.
even climb the
I
ladder a little
actually
bit, right?
had a
So
great
what
career.
happened
I
after
think
for you
I really
after this
enjoyed.
case? Where did you
I
go? Because
loved
now that
the
you solved
FBI
this situation,
and all the
what
things I
happens next
had
in the
access
80s?
to. I was a SWAT guy up in Albany, New York, in the FBI. Also, I went to New York City afterwards. I worked the the Lucchese family on mafias, the mafia organized crime. I worked Colombian cartels. I, I got promoted to a supervisor. I went to Miami. I was a squad supervisor of about 15 agents down there,
Wow.
a Colombian drug squad. Um, I got promoted again after a few years. I was the assistant special agent. Oh, uh, in Miami, 95 to 2001, 97 to 2001.
What year was that? What
Yep.
year was that? What year in
And
Miami?
then I got I got promoted to yeah. It was I had
Wow.
my Rad. I tell you stories about
So
that.
you're
We
just
said
riding the whole
seizures, a couple
Miami
seizures, 5,000
Vice.
kilos of cocaine. I mean, unbelievable uh, drug
Sorry,
busts
go ahead.
that I got
Yeah.
to be party to. Um, I was promoted to assistant special agent in charge in New Orleans. I was there from 2000. My first day there was 9/11, so that was not a great day for being my first day there. But uh, from there, yeah, from there I got after about 4 or 5 years, I got promoted to section chief, which is like the SES, Senior
Oh,
Executive Service in the
wow.
FBI, and I was the section chief of organized crime. I oversaw all organized crime for the FBI for that period of time. And then my
Oh,
final promotion was I was special agent in charge of the Richmond, Virginia office. So um, I went
so
from
cool.
being the
So cool.
only guy, only agent in Albany, New York, to finally at the end of my career, I was the number one guy in Richmond, Virginia. I was the special agent in charge of the Richmond office. So, uh, what a great career! The people who were in the FBI, they're incredible people, like not unlike military people who are in these special units and things like that. They're
What a
special
great.
people,
Yes.
and they should be held in that kind of respect. You know,
Correct.
they are.
And these special people that you talk about, when you don't see them on the job, they're soccer dads and soccer moms, and they're taking care of the scout troop that you might even realize. And these people will go out and they become these special superheroes that are just right your neighbor. It's your neighbor,
Yeah,
okay?
it's
So, you know, if your neighbor
but
knows who you are, I mean, they would
it
probably be
was
like,
a
"Hey,
great
what's
time,
going on, Charles? How you doing today?"
and now I'm fully retired though. Now
Rockstar coming outside. So I mean,
I'm fully retired, and I'm living in Thailand. So it's like
it's
you know
true.
paradise right now for me. Yes, I
Sounds like you're ready to write a book about this. It sounds like we need to get somebody
no,
listening to
I
hit you up and
definitely
say,
I'm
"Hey, let's get
looking.
this into a
I've
book."
been
It sounds
writing
like you need to
and
put this on a book
trying
or
to
in a
do some
movie. I
things with
mean,
that.
have you
I have
made one?
a
Is
guy
there a
who's
book
helping
about
me
this, or are
write,
you
but
open to that
it,
offer?
there's so much information and so many things to cover that I didn't even cover here. That I couldn't
Okay,
even. I don't have the time to speak about all the things that occurred in this investigation and what transpired with it. So I would love to do some kind of, that's why I'm also letting people know. I mean, I think, and people who talk to me, they say, "Man, this would be a great, like a series or a movie or something like that." I go, "Yeah, I think so. I think so." But it's another thing to interest someone else. It's to that level kind of thing. But that's why I'm so happy that you let me tell this story, because it's fascinating.
Okay, so here I got I got a deal. If there's
nice.
Yes. Oh, it is fascinating, and I do have a deal. If anyone's listening and wants to make this into a TV series, I'll play Charles. I'll shave everything, okay, to make this happen. And I'll play Charles, the young Charles with the shaved head.
Right.
You don't even know how tall anybody is. I'll just shave everything. Listen.
But anyway,
it's got to be at least a six TV series. It's got to be a series, okay? It's not just like a day part. It's got to be a series.
It's so great. I enjoyed this a lot, Rad, and really, man.
Right. I'll commit. I will. I'll give you my
bring
everything.
out the things from other people I've watched, and they enjoy speaking with you, and they enjoy telling their stories as well. And that's what really, started me to give you a call or to write to you and say, listen, I think I have a story that also would be good on your show, because of hearing some of the folks that you had. They like I said, they talked about their silver star they got, or they got a bronze star, whatever they got. They none of them are like bragging about that. They're just saying, oh yeah, I got that, and like you talked before.
Right.
Yeah.
I did a thing. I just enlisted. I just served my country. It was just no big deal.
Yeah.
I drive a truck now. I'm the water guy. No. That's the thing. The guy walking into your business's door with the water on his shoulder, man, he's probably got a real DD-214 superhero style. So you never judge a book by its cover. That's it. So I mean, Well, listen, I'm very honored to have had this conversation with you. And I would love to have you on the show again. And I hope positive fortunes come your way and your family's way and the whole 9 yards. So I really want to say thank you. And, again, if you're out there and you've got the means to give Charles the opportunity to write this book and bring it to us so we can go buy it.
Keep doing what you're doing, Rad, and these soldiers who have stories. And
with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say, do you have anything you want to say goodbye? You got anything last word?
There are a lot of people interested in what you did and what you did for our country. And I'm one that, loves to hear those stories. So, I appreciate everything that those soldiers do every day. And I understand what it takes to be one, you know what I mean? So again, love your show. And again, thanks so much for letting me do this. See ya, man.
Thank you. You're very welcome. And with that, we're going to say thanks for tuning into SOFREP Radio. This is Rad saying peace.